Hello and welcome on into the Wise Guys podcast. I'm John Tortorelli, Brand Capozziello, and Justin Ray. And today we'll be discussing the Western
Space Jam.
Conference, ranking every single team that is relevant. Then we're going to preview for the NFL, the Colts and the Texans, while getting B-Cap's perspective on a lot of the latest around the NBA. He didn't get to be on the full episode 2, or was it 78, not 278. It's going to be an exciting one. BC. Oh, we got to see Russell Westbrook debut, my friend, 17-7. I was pretty excited. I don't know.
Yeah, we did. 7 is the number I'm focusing on. But we'll get into him.
We will. We will get into him in due time. JRey.
JRey.
I think you need to make an apology to Knicks fans.
Yeah, I think everybody owes the Knicks an apology.
Oh, no, it's not. Stop doing this BS.
No, it's not BS.
Pelicans with no Zion. So, I mean, congratulations.
Well, congrats, because that's normally the Pelicans.
You should be blowing. Yeah, that's a great point. They had Brad Ingram, and I mean, they still blew him out. Now, here's the thing, JRey. The Nets. The Knicks are 5-0 since acquiring Josh Hart. And when they made that trade, I said it was one of the worst of the deadline. It didn't make any sense. But since being traded to the Knicks, the guy is shooting over 60% from three after shooting south 30% in Portland. It makes no sense, but it's not supposed to make sense, clearly.
I'm loving
Nothing
it.
does.
Knicks basketball is fun. I think this before we get into all the nitty gritty of the show, this reminds me of a run that we went on in the beginning of the season back in, I think, 2012, 2013, where we were undefeated to start the year. I think we're playing just as good basketball that we were doing then in that span of time. So I'm loving this. It's good vibes in the city. Good vibes.
That was the Jalen season.
Yeah.
No?
No.
That was a decade ago, 2013.
Was it Jalen? No, I don't think it was Jalen, but yeah. Anyways, nonetheless, this is a good vibes in the Garden. We got a big matchup against Boston coming up. True test.
Boston last night.
Boston.
Boston.
Say
Crazy.
it again, Justin. Boston.
Jason Tatum.
Boston looked good last night.
Yeah,
Boston.
No. Sorry. I got to get Jaylen Brown. There was a stretch in that fourth quarter where that man looked unstoppable on the defensive end and the offensive end.
Yeah,
He gets some plays, bro.
the true star showed his face at the end of the game. Jason Tatum, big shot, man.
They got to disrespect Jaylen Brown like that. I'm trying to give Jaylen Brown his credit. Jason Tatum always getting the credit because he's the head guy and looked at the head guy. I'm trying to give Jaylen Brown his credit. You got to come up here and you got to poop on his parade.
I mean, I feel like it's the other way around, if anything.
Nah, I don't think so.
We got to rank the Western Conference. We don't got all day. Now, I think a lot of NBA fans like to think there's like 5 or 6 teams that can make it to the NBA Finals outside the Western Conference, but I disagree with that big time. So how would you guys like to do this? Would one of you like to start off giving your rankings? Would you like me to start off? What's the move here?
So we're gonna obviously start bottom top, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We're doing top 8.
We kind of go all 15 and just doing a 4 or 5.
Do you want to do? Yeah, I mean, well, because the Western Conference. I mean, you got the. I think. All right. Here's the first question.
Yes.
Do you actually believe that the Lakers are the 13th best team in the Western Conference?
No.
All right. So, I mean, we agree there then.
That's why people like us rank this conference.
All right. So let's. So we obviously believe Houston and San Antonio are the worst, right? I don't think we're getting any disagreements there.
Yeah, I like what San Antonio is doing. Let's just put them in the rebuilding bracket.
Yeah. Well, with Houston, yeah, both in the rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
We like Portland.
Tier 4. Okay, I'll give you guys my tiers. NBA Western Conference tier ranking. And the bottom tier, the 5th, we'll call it, we've got the Rockets and we've got the Spurs. I'm a big fan of what the Spurs are doing. They are tanking excellently. Excellent to get Victor Wembanyama. They've shut guys down. They've had their best player arguably in Devin Vassell undergo arthroscopic knee surgery. And they're actually maintaining stability in the process, unlike the Rockets in recent seasons. In the 4th tier, the one above it, we have the Trailblazers, who stink. The Jazz, who are not really trying to win, though they are the current 9th seed at 31 and 31. And then in my 3rd tier, we have a good amount of teams.
I would put OKC with Utah and Portland.
You could. I actually think they're a little bit better than that. But you know what, Brent? I'm gonna agree with you on that.
I mean, like the
OKC
top
at the
of tier 4, they're the top team in that tier. You know what I mean?
Top 10 defense this year is a little bit fluky. They're right outside of it with no rim protector, and Shea has been absolutely wonderful.
Okay, I
So the
like the
third
list so
tier
far. I like the list so far.
is where we start to get a little bit risky here. My
Yes.
projected top 2, top 1 seed in the Timberwolves, well, they are going to headline the third tier. Minnesota, man, they play the Warriors tonight. It's been a frustrating year for T-Wolf fans. I mean, the Timberwolves have 8 losses to the 5 worst teams in the NBA this season. The Wizards, the Rockets, they lost to. I mean, the Pistons, the Hornets, they're 0-4 against. Now they get Karl-Anthony Towns back hopefully soon off this pretty serious calf injury, and they're going to need as much of that offense as they can get. And along with them in the third tier, I have the Pelicans. JRey says it often, Zion can't stay on the floor, and that's the biggest issue with this team. And we still don't know if they have enough shooting, enough rim protection, or enough wing defense, or two-way versatility as well. So there's a lot of questions with that team we're not going to be able to really answer for even longer. And the last team I have with them, the third tier, that might be it. Nope, it's not. I have the Lakers at the top of the third tier. They're 2-0 at this new look group. I think Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley are wonderful for them. We got to see more of Anthony Davis. I'm not sure how I feel about that. The second tier in the Western Conference will be headlined by the LA Clippers. This team has made a lot of different moves. Now, I'm not a big fan of Paul George saying, oh, Russell Westbrook was good with me 4 years ago. Let's bring him in because, players are not the same as they were 4 years ago. And now the Clippers have a lot of non-shooters in this team, which I don't like as much. But we do know defensively, on most nights, they're not going to get up 175 points. And offensively, with Kawhi and Paul George, they should be pretty good. And along with them in the second tier, I have the Warriors. I have them above them. I think the Warriors are more so dangerously looming. It's just not quite the same team as last year. Andrew Wiggins has missed some time due to personal reasons, and defensively, it hasn't been there the way it was in last year's postseason. Klay Thompson, of course, as you would expect, isn't this defender they once was either. So there's some questions with that Warriors defense on the perimeter. Fans giving me that funny look. Klay still got an absolute clip, dude. He's shooting 41% from 3 this year. He's a wonderful all-time shooter. And along with those two teams, in the second tier, I have the Sacramento Kings at the bottom. The Kings have the best offense in basketball by far. They're number one, and not only offensive rating, but points per game too. And it's a credit to Mike Brown, it's a credit to De'Aaron Fox, it's a credit to Domantas Sabonis, and this quality supporting cast Monty McNair, their general manager, has put together. That leads me to the top tier. The Western Conference only has 3 real contenders. And I actually forgot to put in one fake contender, one pretender into the last tier, but I'll get to that in a second. In the top tier in the West, I have the Denver Nuggets at the tippy top, alongside the Phoenix Suns at number 2, and the Dallas Mavericks at number 3. Now you'll notice I skimped out on one team. That was the Memphis Grizzlies. They absolutely ransacked the Nuggets last night, but the Nuggets shot 16% from three-point range in that game. I'm not going to overvalue that. I think the Grizzlies are a little more of a pretender. Defensively, they can pose a lot of questions, a lot of problems for teams, but offensively, I have a lot of my questions with that team in the postseason. So I have the Grizzlies in the top of the second tier with the Warriors, and who is the other team? I'm forgetting. Oh, the Kings and the Clippers. So to recap, in the Western Conference, there's only 3 real contenders to me. The Suns, the Mavericks, and at the tippy top, the Nuggets. Second tier, I have the Warriors, Clippers, Grizzlies, and Kings. Third tier, Lakers, T-Wolves, and the Pelicans. That's my top 10.
I like the list. I like the list.
Thank you.
What do you think about the list, Justin?
Not bad. I mean,
It's not bad.
there's a couple of teams that I feel like it's right now. It's immediately after the All-Star break. I feel like come April, we'll be looking at a completely different version of this.
I really especially like the obviously bottom. I think we kind of basically agree on like the bottom tier of the teams, but yeah, overall I like the list.
What would you guys change?
What would you change, Justin?
Where'd you put the Lakers?
I put them around number 8, number 9. Top of the third.
I have them ranked at number 7 at the moment. I do think with the trades that they made, I feel like we're going to see a completely new Laker team in the second half. That's the team that I feel is more primed to jump up all of our lists in the next couple of months. So I'd say really that. I like your top 2. I have Denver, Phoenix as well. I have Clippers 3, not Dallas there. I have Dallas 4.
Okay.
So should I go through my list while I'm at it, I guess?
While you're at it, let's hear
Real
it.
thing, chicken wing.
Bottom from top or top to bottom?
Come on, man. Beat it to you, bro.
15, I got Houston. There's rumors, the funny thing, that James Harden might be going back to Houston.
Why?
That's home, man. That's
If
home.
there's
That is home to him. So apparently he still trains there. He even works out in their facility in the off season. So there's a possibility James Harden might be going back to Houston. 14, I got San Antonio, which is so weird to say because of so many years of dominance and fielding good teams. This just isn't a real Popovich team to me. At 13, I got Utah. Utah is in this phase where they're rebuilding, but they have some good pieces there. So I wouldn't even say rebuilding because they're doing a great job just retooling. So at 12, I'm going to go Portland. Portland has always been just in this purgatory where they're not going anywhere and they're not going downhill, they're not going up. They're just right in this place where there's no development. It's just the same old Portland Trailblazers. They're at 12. 11, I got OKC. I love what they're doing. Shea could be a possible MVP candidate with the numbers that he's putting up this year. So I'm going to put them at 11, but for years to come, I think we'll be talking about OKC as a potential contender in the Western Conference. At 10, I got the Pelicans. More so, there's no Zion. So we can never see this team's true potential without their number one star on the court. Watching them last night, the second Brandon Ingram or CJ McCollum gets cold, that team has no firepower whatsoever. I got the Pels at 10. At 9, the defending champion Golden State Warriors, which is a shame because, going into the season, you probably expect them to be contending for a title, but they've dropped off tremendously. Their road record is disgusting. I don't know how much better this team can be. I don't want to doubt them and say they can't go on a run because I got too much respect for their dynasty. But at the moment, I have them at 9. At number 8, I have Minnesota. We all had high hopes for them going into the season. John had extremely high hopes going into the season. But I do think that they're finding their way. I think they will have an opportunity to climb this list. But for now, I have them at 8. And I told you already, at 7, I got the Lakers, the team that I expect to jump maybe 2-3 spots by the end of the season. And we'll be talking about them as a potential title contender because you can never doubt a LeBron-led team. So I got the Lakers at 7. At number 6, I finally got to put a little respect on it. I'm going to go with Sacramento. Like you said, this is the best offensive team in the NBA. De'Aaron Fox, I think, is leading in all clutch points in the league right now. He's going absolutely crazy. And I think number 2, just a shout out to Jalen Brunson. But number 1 is De'Aaron Fox, and he's really led this squad from the beginning of the year till now. By this time, I already expected them to fall off. Because growing up, you don't think the Sacramento Kings are an actual real deal team to worry about. And now you can tell that they're building something smart. They have a direction, and they're showing it. I have them at 6. At number 5, I have the big bad Memphis Grizzlies. And I say big bad sarcastically because nobody is actually scared of them. Put Ja on the island, make Ja beat you from shooting the rock, you'll be fine. He can't. So I don't have that much respect for Memphis. I think they're a fun team to watch. I love the attitude and grit that they play with, that people want to hate them. That's awesome. Great for basketball, but not a fan. Number 4, I got Dallas. I love Luka. I love Kyrie. I do think the trade is going to put them over the top. I think they'll be playing. I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing in the Western Conference Finals because of these two. At number 3, I got the Clippers. Just so much respect for Kawhi and PG. Any team led by Kawhi, if he's healthy come playoff time, you have to respect whatever the Clippers are going to do. And the top 2, I got 1, Denver, 2, Phoenix. It's going to be interchangeable because when I see Kevin Durant take the floor, a lot can change.
I agree with that. To recap, Wolves at 8, Lakers at 7, Kings at 6, Grizz at 5, Mavericks at 4, Clippers at 3, Suns at 2.
Minnesota was at 8.
Minnesota's at 8. Yep.
Yeah.
Suns at 2.
Yeah.
And Nuggets
Denver
at
1.
I respect that. I think that was a very good list.
Not bad. Okay. I'm surprised I didn't ruffle any feathers with the Lakers stuff. I'm very high on LeBron. Very high. So, B-Cap.
What number was the Lakers you had, Justin?
7.
Okay. Yeah. Well, for me, like I said, I liked John's start off list really well because I kind of basically agree with him all the way up until I think me and you, John, might have the same list. Maybe flip a team here or there because you did like the tiers thing. Up until like the ninth team, I believe, if I'm remembering your list correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So my
so
list,
so
it doesn't
obviously
matter.
the last team is the Rockets, right? We know what they're going for. Spurs, again, we know what they're going for. Utah, uh, while they're in a rebuild mode, their team has actually played a lot better than we all expected. But I think even when they were on that hot streak to start the season off, I initially called out. I was like, it's not going to last. It's going to come down. It has. They're now what? They're 500 now, so they've kind of fizzled out. Then I got Portland. I give Portland their respect because still Damian Lillard is still Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
OKC. I think everybody enjoys OKC. I think everybody likes what OKC is doing. I think everybody loves the young talent. But here's my thing, because I agree with those points. They're so young. You know what I mean? And you know how the old saying is, too much of a good thing could be a bad thing. That's where I kind of maybe OKC is kind of playing into that a little bit. There might be that. We're gonna see how it plays out because if they end up belly flopping on this is back to back where you had Harden, KD, Westbrook, Ibaka, Reggie Jackson, name the list, and then you got this young squad, and you got no championships to show for.
This
So
current team has 12 players, 24 or younger.
see, that's what it's just because then like which one you gotta look at who's gonna start peaking at what time when you gotta pay which guy who you decide to pay. It's just you see how my hands are going all over the place. It's just
Yep.
like a string thing. So I got OKC number 11. Number 10 is John's team that he thought was going to be number one, and me and Justin obviously laughed at him when he said that. Number 10 is the T Wolves. It's just a bad fit, John. It's just a bad fit. It doesn't work. Okay, and Cat isn't even around right now. We know with Cat it doesn't work. Still, it's even worse of a fit. So that trade is already we can already see it's not going to work out for the long run. All right,
Which one?
Rudy.
Could be
Yeah,
a
I
deal
got
or a
you.
trade too.
Number 9, I got the Pelicans. Like Justin said, we've never seen them at their real full strength. No Zion, so that's where I kind of have them. They could be higher, but with no Zion, I can't put you any higher. I need
We
to see
kind of,
it.
by the way, we kind of did see the Pels at their full strength without Brandon Ingram. They were the number one seed for a
They would
week
look
and a
good.
half. Tragic.
Respect. Yeah, their one thing is always been like they can score with anybody, and it's like a team I'm going to talk about a
Not
little
the
bit
Knicks.
later. But they can score with anybody, right? When they're fully healthy, it's the other side of the ball where they can't really stop anybody. Number 8, I got the Kings. I love the Kings. I like what the Kings are doing. I love De'Aaron Fox. Listen, I would love De'Aaron Fox on the Miami Heat. All right, this kid, explosive, must see TV. All right, speed out the. You want to talk? He might be the fastest guy in the NBA right now, or top two, top three. He's up
Mhm.
there, man. Shifty as hell, lefty with it. I
He's a
like the.
fox.
I like De'Aaron Fox a lot. I love De'Aaron Fox actually. But I just think that they need a little more star power to compete with some of the other teams. And because when I should have said this prefaced. When I look at this, I'm looking at obviously besides the Pelicans, because Zion, I can't right now.
Sure.
I'm looking at everybody at their full strength. So then I got the Memphis Grizzlies at 7. And I think you guys both said it. I know John definitely said they're frauds. Okay, they're frauds. We all know it. They talk a lot, but they don't do a lot of action. All right. Hey, like I just love how it's kind of listen, I love talking your talk, right? I love that. I love that energy. So do it. You do got to back it up, but if you do it, you got to remember that if you don't back it up, you're gonna have to open yourself up for that. And it's just Josh getting that all the memes of him or the gifs of I ain't worried about nobody in the West. So, Josh, you worried now? You worried now?
That'd be.
Yeah. Number 6, Dallas Mavericks.
Wow.
Great offense. Like I said with the Pelicans. Great offense. They can score at anybody. Who are they stopping? How? Well, who? And especially their interior defense.
Yeah.
How you gonna compete with the Suns, KD, and I know John doesn't like them, but 8 and 7 footer. How you gonna deal with Jokic and Aaron Gordon? How you gonna deal with the Lakers and AD if he's at his full health? You ain't dealing with that, man. And then the Warriors, if they're at their full, how is Luka and Kyrie gonna look guarding all those guys? How are they gonna look guarding Steph and Clay with the running around and all that stuff? Luka, how are you gonna hide in the corner, man? How are you gonna hide in the corner? So that's where I have Dallas. I love the offense, but I don't see it working out, man. I really don't. I don't know. I can't predict where Kyrie's gonna be, offseason, but
I think they're 3-3 since Kyrie.
yeah, it's for me. I don't think it's going to work out. I said that when the signing first happened, and I still stick with that. I just don't think it's going to work out. They're not winning a championship. That's a fact. I can guarantee you that right now. This pairing is not going to win a championship unless they go add another elite 4 or 5 or small forward. But they're not getting that guy. So this team's not winning. This pairing's not winning a championship. I'm sorry, Dallas. Number 5, I got the Los Angeles Lakers. This is where they should be, right? When we talking about the Lakers, hey, guess what? AD, LeBron, no more excuses. No excuses. You got the team now. I think everybody agrees we like the team now. You got D'Lo. I know he got hurt, but you got D'Lo. All right, better than Westbrook. He ain't going to turn the ball over nearly as much, and he can at least freaking shoot. You got Malik Beasley. He's making his threes now. That must feel like a godsend for LeBron. You got Vanderbilt. I know he can't really shoot threes, but he's a really, really good, tenacious defensive player.
Does not need to shoot threes.
He does not. You got AD. When AD is healthy, I think everybody here and all basketball fans can agree, AD, talent-wise, is a top 5 player. He should be. He's a walking 28 and 13. This is where they should be. No more excuses. You're number 5. And low-key, I could see them over the 14 because you got AD and they don't got a big man to guard you. Number 4 team is the Golden State Warriors, and I'm just going to give them their respect there because you can never count them out, like I said. All right, they're the Warriors for a reason. They've proven themselves. They don't need to prove themselves anymore. We shouldn't sleep on them anymore. When Steph gets back, things are starting. I mean, Clay doing his thing. And I think we all know that the defense was going to take a lot longer than the offense to get back for Clay. We all knew that. The defense, I'm sorry, from what I've seen, the little stuff I've seen this season of Klay Thompson, every time I've seen him, he's done a pretty damn good job. So I think when the money is getting pushed to the table in the playoffs, I think Clay is going to be able to show out and give a lot more defensively. I think regular season might be, showing us something that's not really, what the actuality, what's the reality. So I want to wait till the playoffs, and I think Clay can actually turn it up and turn it on on the defensive end. Number 3, I got the Los Angeles Clippers. You guys know they were my preseason pick, all right, to win it all. Kawhi, I'm a big Kawhi guy. Love Kawhi. All right, board man gets paid. I love that guy.
Russ really knocked down a spot for you, huh?
Sick of this, man. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of Paul George. I blame Paul George, and I knew it was Paul George. When the signing happened, I was instantly like, I know it's you, Paul. Your fault. You were the one. You ruined this team.
Maybe he'll elevate the team.
Yeah, he's going to elevate. When's the last time he's elevated a team, Justin? When's the last time he's been on a winning team?
Things can change.
When? How? In what way? Has he changed his entire career? No, he's gotten worse. He's gotten worse. He's gotten worse. From everywhere.
14 assists.
7 turnovers, too.
You're giving me 7 turnovers. You just bottomed it. Huh? And when you're a 29%, you are bearing on the worst 3-point shooter in the league. He keeps every day it changes. He's either the worst or the 3rd worst 3-point shooter in the entire league. His free throw percentage is shooting under 70% again. This is a starting point guard in the NBA. What did we say about Lonzo Ball? What did we say about Lonzo Ball?
He
You
had
can't be a
felt
starting point guard in the NBA and shoot that bad from the free throw line.
or from 3 or sub 30.
It's terrible. Terrible. They're number 3. And you guys were so soft on that move. You don't understand how much that has cost them. Please explain to me if you do believe anybody out there in the NBA community or you guys sitting right here, all right? Please explain to me how this move, Russell Westbrook, made this team better. Please explain to me.
Well, they didn't
they
trade
haven't.
3 quality rotation players in draft pick to get him. They're paying him the minimum contract. Look, Russ is a flawed player, and I think if you overuse him, it could lead to some pretty big issues. But one thing you can't deny with this Clippers team is they get some pace, they get some playmaking, they get somebody that's going to be maximized with their shooting. And while Russ is not a player you can use to close games because his decision making is bad, his shooting is a joke, and for some reason they can't just don't play him at the 3-point line, you can use him and down the stretch, and he can help you extend a run because of what he can bring in that athleticism.
And he can
and
also terrorize a run for you because he could turn the ball over at an insane rate. He could start bricking his 3-pointers and his mid-rangers and not making his free throws.
And that's why you have a championship head coach, Brandon, and Tyronn Lue.
It doesn't. That doesn't. Russ is going to be Russ, man. This move didn't help. You can try and sugarcoat it like John just did. That did nothing. You said nothing there. And guess what? They are going to overuse him. He's the starting point guard now. Because there was a report out when he got released by the Lakers or traded and then bought out that whichever team he went to, he wanted to start. Because I'm Russell Westbrook and I'm the MVP.
Yeah.
So he's going to start. He's probably going to be Ty Lue's going to take him out in late game situations, John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyronn
So
Lue,
Westbrook, you want a moping, you're going to have, guess what? You're going to have just like the Lakers. He's going to terrorize you from the inside out because you're going to have a mopey player on the end of the bench, not caring, being laxative, being mad, disappointed that he's not in the game in the closing minute because guess what? I'm Russell Westbrook. I can help. It's what happened with the Lakers. It's the same thing. I love Russ. I love what he stands for. Like that clip of the Lakers when they're in the locker room and LeBron's giving that thing and I forget what he said, but he's like, we gotta go win. Let's go win and stuff. And then Russ just comes in. He's like, remember, guys, just have fun. Let's just have fun, right? Remember that? And everybody just look at him like, because and I understand where Russ is coming from. And I respect that. You know what I mean? That's what you tell the 9-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, the 8-year-olds when they're playing the games. You're like, and one more thing. Just remember to go out there and have fun. No, not in the situation the Lakers were at. This is not about fun, dude. We're the freaking Lakers. We're one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. And we're out here below 500 with AD and LeBron.
Not even in the play-in.
This isn't fun. It's serious. I respect where Westbrook was coming from, but that's not the moment in time to do what he did.
Back to the Clips.
Clippers, number 3. I hate it so much. I just hate it, man. Number 2, I got the Denver Nuggets. I mean, they've been kind of the best team in the NBA or in the West, whichever one you want to call it. Throw it up in the air for the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Nuggets. I've kind of been calling their shot for the last couple of years that they're going to be here. They're going to be winning the championship soon because they got the young core of a Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Nikola Jokic, the Joker, and they brought in Aaron Gordon, which was a great move. And then obviously the other rotational pieces like KCP and etc.
Bruce.
I love Bruce. I love the Nuggets. I like Mike Malone a lot as a head coach. I also love what he said about the All-Star game. But number 1, I got to put him there because I do believe they are a super team. It's the Phoenix Suns. You got the best starting 5 in the NBA. All right. So
talk about it.
I mean, you got CP3, Hall of Famer. You got Devin Booker. walking
Oh,
30 point guy. You got KD walking 30-pointer, and you got DeAndre Ayton who is a walking 18, 17, and 10 guy.
And now they have Josh Okogie, who
And
in Minnesota kind of spurned
he's
out.
gonna be their 3.
Yeah, and over the last 5 games,
Not
mass
Warren. Warren's
Josh
coming off the bench.
Warren, yeah, because he's going to
Warren.
be like a 15 to 20 minute a game guy.
Gotcha.
Okogie, the masked version of him, is shooting 50% from three on 7 attempts per game since February 9th. And he's averaging 20 points in that span. So he's always been a great defender, but he can never shoot. And now all of a sudden he can shoot, he can pass, he can run transition. Josh Okogie might be the missing piece of the Suns team, which nobody thought coming into the year. And I remember maybe on this show, I would throw it in there, maybe Josh Okogie starts making shots. All of a sudden, the Suns had that fifth starter in place. Well, it's happening. We're here. And if Josh Okogie continues playing as well as this, hell, I mean, they needed somebody to take that Mikal Bridges void. And right now, he is doing as good of a job as I could have dreamed of, let alone imagined. It has been unbelievable.
Yeah, so I got the Suns as the number 1 team. Now I don't know about the championship. We're not predicting that right now, but in terms of that, I got the Suns number 1.
I agree. Brandon, you had the Kings at 8?
The Kings are number 8.
All right, so your rankings are Kings at 8, Grizzlies at... No, let me ask you guys. JRey, do you have your list so you can just get it for like a short? All right, awesome. Our wise guys, Western Conference, ranking the NBA... ranking the NBA Western Conference for the Wise Guys podcast. My ranking started off. Number 8, we've got the Lakers. Number 7, best offense in the league, the Kings. Number 6, the Grizzlies. I feel like they're a pretender. I'm not getting moved by one game last night. Number 5, I've got the Clippers. 4, the Warriors. I might switch that up, but those two teams are interchangeable. Number 3, the Mavericks. Number 2, the Suns. Number 1, the Denver Nuggets.
Want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead, JRey.
Number 8, I got the T-Wolves. Disappointing because they should be better, but 8. Number 7, Lakers are climbing the ladder. Love where B-Cap has them. Love that we're showing them some respect right now. At number 6, I have to put some respect on Sacramento, best offense in the league. Number 5, I got Memphis. While they're 5 right now, they can drop in my eyes. Number 4, I love Luka. I love Kyrie. I got the Mavs. Big matchup today against the Lakers. Number 3, I got the Clippers. I think they'll be there at the end of the day, always with Kawhi. Number 2 and number 1, I got Phoenix number 2, but I want to put them number 1. And once KD gets back, they'll probably take that spot. At number 1 right now, I got the Denver Nuggets.
Sir.
Well, Justin, I'll do it for you. Number 8, I got the Sacramento Kings. Love De'Aaron Fox. I just think that they need a little more star power there to really compete with the teams of the Western Conference in the playoffs. Number 7, I got the Memphis Grizzlies. Agreed. Frauds. A lot of talk, no action. Number 6, I got the Dallas Mavericks. Great offense, no D, especially interior defense. Number 5, Lakers. This is where they should be. Guess what? AD, LeBron, no more excuses. You got the team. Let's start competing. Number 4, I got the Golden State Warriors. All reliable. The team that's dominated the last decade, basically. Can't count them out ever. I got the Warriors number 4. Number 3, I got the Los Angeles Clippers. I love Kawhi. I love this team. I love Ty Lue, but they moved down with Russell Westbrook. I hate that move so much. Number 2, I got the Denver Nuggets. They've been the best team in the West, but they've been dethroned because a super team has now been created. And number 1, I got the Phoenix Suns, the super team of the NBA now.
You said there's a new sheriff in town.
And his name is Kevin Durant.
Josh Okogie.
Nah.
In other news, Justin Holiday made his Mavericks debut. You guys talking about this Mavericks defense. Justin Holiday, 15 points. That's a win in the perimeter. That they can add a little bit more stock on outside for a team that last year was top 5 in defensive rating, or top 6 in defensive rating, and top 3 in opponents' points per game. I feel like that Mavericks defense is a lot better than people give it credit for. But you are right, though, Brandon. I mean, they're going to get beaten and better in the post because there's nobody that can guard Jokic.
That's what I'm saying. They play each other very soon. I think they play each other a couple times to end the season. AD better freaking dominate against the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, they have a litmus test today at 3:30.
Yeah, that's very good.
Standard time, as Justin said.
Sorry, Justin.
What?
Sometimes you say things and I don't hear them.
Justin's I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay.
So we're actually going to save our Colts and Texans preview for the second half of the show. Brandon, I want to get we already talked about the Westbrook to the Clippers thing. Is there
I hate
anything
it.
else you hated it?
I despise the move.
You would like to think the rest of the self-awareness, though, to know this Clippers team is so good that he may not be one of their 5 best players to close the game, which is
Yeah,
the reality. He's
no,
not.
he doesn't believe that. I just want somebody out there because I think you guys are more on my train, but you guys just weren't as hard, and I was very disappointed. You guys were a little soft in the last episode on this move. You should have been harder on it because it is a bad move. It makes their team worse. If somebody out there can explain to me how Westbrook makes this team better, I am all ears. But you're. I just want to see what crazy thing the internet can come up with. Russell Westbrook made this team better.
You know, I actually thought when he was bought out that there was the potential of him not even finding a team.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people were talking about that.
Not when the Wizards exist, though.
They were on a team.
I don't
Apparently,
even think
the
the Wizards
Miami
were-
Heat and the Clippers that were. I mean, thank God he didn't come to Miami, but
The star, the Heat need the secondary perimeter creator. It's a star right there.
see exactly my point right there. See, he's still a star. Yep.
And while we're talking about your Heat, PC.
Oh, I'm sick and freaking tired of my Miami Heat. I saw the end of the last night's game. It's just disappointing. The defense, what's going on? Too many mistakes, lackadaisical. This is not the Miami Heat that I know and love. They're not playing Miami Heat basketball. I don't know what's going on. It's just
Yeah, so you can't be losing to the Hornets if those of you out there didn't
no.
know that. Last night they lost. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games, but they did add in Kevin Love and Cody Zeller, former Hornets. I want to know what you kind of thought of Kevin Love coming in for a Heat team that's dropped from first in three-point percentage to 28th this season. Last night, 13 points and 13 rebounds.
Yeah, I love Kevin Love. I tweeted about it when it was rumored the move was going to happen, and then when the move happened. I love Kevin Love. I really like the move. It's not a needle move or anything. It's not going to change your opinion on Miami, but I like the move. It's a good move. That's really all I can say about it. It's not the thing that we need. Could we use it? Yeah, it's nice to have it. Would have been nice to have a Pat Bev too. Yeah, it would have been great, but that's not what we need to compete in the East and against the West. We need a number one scoring guy. No offense, Tyler Hero, because he did play a pretty good game last night.
Good point. That's what he does often. Now, speaking of lead scorers, the Hawks are closing in on making Quinn Snyder their next head coach. Now, Snyder in 2014 spent a year at the team before being hired by the Jazz on Mike Budenholzer's staff. And it's weird to me. I look at teams like the 76ers, even the Nuggets this year if they underperform with Michael Malone's job, and I see a lot of really appealing job opportunities coming around the next year. And Snyder took a shot by closing in on this deal with the Hawks. It's not official yet. And I look at this Atlanta team, and to be honest with you, Trae Young would be one of the last superstars I would want to coach. Now, one thing that Snyder loved to do, he placed an emphasis on, was pull-up three-point shooting. Trae Young loves doing that. And for a Hawks team that's underperformed on both sides of the ball, Snyder was a guy in Utah who always maximized his personnel to make them top 10 in those two sides of the floor. I want to get your spin on it, JRey. You talked about Trae Young. Do you think this can kind of move the needle here in a Western or an Eastern Conference that is tightly contested?
Move the needle for the Hawks to get in? No, not at all. My stance still it stays the same on how I view the Hawks. And I think I said it last episode about Trae Young and his style of play. You need one, if there's a coach out there that's willing to actually take on this opportunity, sure. But I don't know if Trae Young is the most coachable athlete in the world. I think while fantastic scorer he is, and yeah, he can light up a box score. He's also at the same reason why they're not at the peak of their powers, He's also the same thing holding them back. So I love Trae Young. I think he's a fantastic athlete. Is he a 1? No. Is he a 1B? No. He's a 2. You got to have him. You need another superstar there in Atlanta. Atlanta's not moving anywhere until they find that.
I like how you say it. You say Atlanta. I like that, Justin. Say Atlanta.
Atlanta?
I say Atlanta.
This is former cyberbullying.
I'm from Connecticut. I don't pronounce my T's, guys. I'm sorry. I don't pronounce the T's. I don't got time for them. They just get in the way. Yeah.
So it's Brady?
No, no. If it's the first letter, John, we're not barbarians. In terms of the Quinn Snyder move, Yeah, I mean, I agree with Just. It doesn't change the, move the needle or anything. Their problem is, I know I just repeated myself twice, but it's what it is. It's they don't. Trae Young is, he's not a number one, but he acts like a number one because he's got the ball in his hand majority of the game. They don't got the necessary support system to make that team a contender. They had their window, they had their moment in the sun, and their 15 minutes of fame, and it was up.
I still have no idea how the 76ers lost that playoff series, but guys, Quinn Snyder is an excellent head coach
Yeah.
in the regular season.
Well,
He is one of the best at maximizing his teams, but there was a component to the Jazz where emotionally that team broke down at the end, and Quinn Snyder did not do a good job with that component. I think for the Hawks, though, you just need a good head coach, and Nate McMillan was below league average. Lloyd Pierce was not the ideal guy to lead a young team, but now Snyder, you get somebody that built the Jazz team out from the gutter. They were a 25, 20 some odd win team when he got there, and by the time he left, they were one of the few teams on a 6-year playoff streak that's going to end the season. So I think Snyder doesn't get enough respect. The concern I have with him, like Mike Budenholzer, is that his teams always overemphasize the regular season, and that comes back to bite them in the playoffs when they don't have the lineup versatility and they can't go with different types of schemes. Rudy Gobert gets put off the floor. What do? You throw Hassan Whiteside in there? No, it's not going to fix anything. You need some sort of backup big that can be versatile. And I do think with the Hawks, he gets a little bit more versatility because they have a young team. And yeah, Conwu, young backup big, it's really good. Maybe he can start down the line, and also AJ Griffin plus Sadiq Bey, who they brought in. They'll probably have to pay him a lot of money.
What was he on the coaching staff prior to the hiring, or no?
So Snyder was not, but he was, 9 years ago.
See, I find that I don't know about you guys. I find that kind of strange. You're bringing a totally new head coach that in mid-season, right after the All-Star break, and
Well, we're
now
still
that
not sure yet if he's going to come in. I would think he should, so that way he knows what he's got this off season.
okay, because if it's bringing him in the middle of the season, changing an entire system like that, that's kind of I don't know. I'm not too fond of that. If it's an off-season move, he's coming in next season, sure, fine. But to jump in now, I don't know.
The deal could be finalized as soon as today. I agree with you. If you're going to throw in a head coach, a third one in the middle of the season, that's what the Kings did with George Karl and Ty Corbin, plus who was the other coach? Michael Malone back in the day. Throwing 3 different head coaches in the payroll, or technically 2, because one was the interim. That's a little bit too much for one season. But the Hawks year's already a wash. Let's be honest; they're not going nowhere.
True.
let's talk about wash teams.
Oh, geez.
But in a different sport. Talk
Different
about some
sport.
foosball.
So we are going to be recapping the second half, or the second layer of the AFC South. Our two teams today being the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts.
Don's favorite team, the Colts. Jim Irsay. Somebody saying something or?
So starting things off, coming into the year, I think all three of us had the Colts winning the AFC South in 2022. They went 4-12-1.
We did.
So the question pops up: how do the Indianapolis Colts win 4 games when they bring in Matt Ryan, hoping to make a playoff push? The answer would be Jim Irsay stepping in the middle of the season, though Matt Ryan had a .500 record, and saying, "We're done with you. We're also done with Frank Reich because the Patriots' defensive lines are going to ruin our O-line that's injured, so we're going to fire him, bring Jeff Saturday to fix the O-line," which he actually helped in fixing that offensive line. But ultimately, the Colts weren't good enough to win games, and they also were trying to tank to get the best quarterback available on the board. So, moving into the NFL draft, I don't think any of us expected the Colts to have anywhere near a top 5 pick. Yet they have the 4th overall selection behind the Cardinals, Texans, and Bears. Now, the team in the offseason made a pretty big-time hire, Brandon Shane Steichen. And with only about $12 million in cap space, JRey, let's hit to you first things up. You've talked about this Colts team a little bit. What do you think about the Colts offseason plans? What's the biggest priority? Where should they target with a 4th overall pick? Or maybe something higher in the draft?
Man, the Colts. What to do. So disappointing, man. I think at one point I had them when we were doing our top 5. I think I had them at 5 in one of my rankings because I expected so much. Going into the season, they were a quarterback away for all these years. It was You went with Phillip Rivers. You went with Carson Wentz, and instead of making a big splash and getting a real A1 quarterback, you go get Matt Ryan. And while I thought Matt Ryan still had plenty left in the tank, um, shows he didn't.
He couldn't.
So yeah, the Colts massively dropped off, and I don't want to say that their roster is depleted of talent because it's not. It has plenty of good pieces, and reworking that O line, Quentin Nelson regressed. I think once they get all that situated, the main goal is just quarterback. That's really what it's going to be. Get a quarterback to feed Michael Pittman the ball. I don't know if Paris Campbell's going to be there next year, but you got to find weapons to bolster that offense because that has been what's let them down over and over again. It's not the defense. It's really not the offensive line, even though, like I said, the offensive line wasn't what it used to be. It's the quarterback. You don't have that guy, and that seems to ring true for so many franchises, but specifically this one, a team that since Andrew Luck has been retired, they haven't found that guy, and they've been having more than good rosters to compete. So if I'm the Colts, you're probably drafting a quarterback, but it needs to be somebody that you're absolutely sold on. You're not going to get Bryce Young because he's probably going to go to the other team that we're going to talk about in Houston. Are you going to get a Will Levis? Are you going to get a Stroud? I don't know what.
This is what I think, and I think I actually predicted it when we talked about the signing, John, of Shane Steichen to the Indianapolis Colts, and they had the 4th pick. I said, think about how he called the offense in Philadelphia, Justin. Think about what kind of quarterback he had in Philadelphia. Think about how the type of success he had in Philadelphia with that type of quarterback. Who's the quarterback that we just got into a pretty heated argument with before the show? That would be one Mr. Anthony Richardson.
Out of Florida.
And Anthony Richardson, John is saying is, I'll PG it for you, an effing phenomenal runner. All right. So if that's the type of offense you want to run, you would think, ding, 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 circle gets the square. Look what he's got right there. Johnny, tell him what he's won. An Anthony Richardson prize. So I think that's where they're going at the number 4th pick. I think that they're going to go. If he wants to run the same type of offense, you got Anthony Richardson right there. I think that's where they go.
I think part of what made Steichen such a great hire is that he also spent time with Justin Herbert his rookie season, and years before that, Phillip Rivers too, from his time stemming from North Turner back in the day in Los Angeles. He's getting hyped up for Anthony Richardson 4th overall, your dog. That's what it is. I look at this.
Not even my dog. That's the thing that's getting me so annoyed.
That happens. Like Carmelo is the same thing. I look at this Colts team, and I feel like the biggest weakness is Michael Pittman is a great number 2, but he's not number 1. You need a number 1 receiver, so you can have Pittman be the 2 and Alec Pierce be the 3. 2 great players on the outside. You need a right guard. Will Fry's not doing it for me. But at tackle, Bernard Raymond played very well in the second half of the season. I think Quentin Nelson with better health can be good. You've got Kelly and also the right tackle too, Brandon Smith. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone in the offensive line. I just adding one more guy in the interior. And then I look, of course, at quarterback. That's a clear need. But for this Colts team, I think you have to go with the quarterback with the highest upside long term. Because Andrew Luck retired, and since then you haven't been able to find an elite level player. And settling for C.J. Stroud, who has the lowest ceiling, I think, of any quarterback in this draft, would be the wrong move. I think you need to shoot for a home run and let an Anthony Richardson, if you take him, Brandon, sit for a year and a half because he won't be ready-made day 1. And maybe you bring a bridge quarterback like Jacoby Brissett yet again for a year, and you use this as an intermediate season. I think Steichen's going to do a great job with Jonathan Taylor, who missed a good portion of last year with an ankle injury, had only 800 rushing yards, which is cut in half from 2021. The Colts are in pretty good shape, and it's a good thing that they didn't ruin the head coach because I thought Irsay was going to. Now, flipping it to the other side of the ball, defensively, they have some big-time players. Stephon Gilmore is still elite. Shaq Leonard.
I think, John.
Is he?
I think
I'll check in a moment. Shaq Leonard missed a huge portion of last year as well, coming off injury. You get him back into the lineup as well. I feel like this Colts team with a lot of their guys on the outside, Kenny Moore, Zaire Franklin, and DeForest Buckner on the interior, this can be a really good defense.
Mhm.
A really good defense with Gus Bradley, but they probably need to have a little bit more depth there, of course, on the defensive line, add a little bit more in the secondary, get younger there. And realistically, they'll have a chance to win this division next year. Not picking them to, but I do think they can win a lot more than 4 games. Because let's be honest, last year, the offensive line was terrible early on, and I'm expecting it to be a lot better in 2023.
I think that they can be the second best team, depending on what quarterback they get in this division. There's no way in hell I think that they're going to compete with the Jaguars. Yeah, I like the points that you made, John. I think that they got the pieces, man. Now they need to do what they've failed to do since Andrew Luck retired. That's really it.
Let me ask you guys a question. Who wins more playoff games over the next 5 years? Frank Reich in Carolina or Shane Steichen in Indianapolis?
Next 5 years, both teams don't have
Extend it to 8.
quarterbacks.
I'll say Carolina. I
Ooh.
think from what we saw from them last season, I think they're well on their way to finding, the right track.
I'll say Carolina, but I'm not confident in either of those.
I'm not putting money in either.
But the thing is, look at the state of the NFC South.
Yeah, you can say. I mean, yeah, but then they have to go in the playoffs. Neither team have a quarterback right now, so it's hard for me to
Right
see
now.
what they're going to be. And then you say look at what the Panthers did last year, but that was also under a different coach. We don't know how they're going to react to Frank Reich.
Mm-hmm.
We like Frank Reich, but we don't know how the team's going to react. Are they going to play the same way that they played? Or his name is escaping me. The interim head
Matt
coach.
Rule. I'd imagine.
No,
Frank
no, no,
Reich.
no, no. The interim head coach.
Steve Wilkes.
Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, Steve Wilkes. So I don't know if they're going to play the same way. Not Matt Rule. Forget it. We don't have to talk about Matt Rule ever again.
On the Gilmore front, he is on contract for $10 million. He has a $12 million cap hit, which is well worth it. But they do have an out this offseason for $2 million dead.
I wouldn't be surprised if they take that out.
Really? He's
Yeah.
still elite corner.
No, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I think that if looking at cap casualties and be like, which player can we afford to lose? We'll lose an old cornerback.
I wouldn't mind
yes, I
bringing
know.
him back
Where,
home.
New England?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Pittsburgh, Justin. Yeah, no, I think with this Colts team, another question is what happens with Matt Ryan? Because I don't think he's this terrible, unusable backup.
I think that he can be their bridge quarterback then.
You think he could?
I mean, unless the relationship between the team and him is just not, rekindleable, whatever the word is. So unless that's the case, then I don't know. But if it's not, then why not just keep him on there?
I think Matt Ryan's out.
So slow.
I think he winds up in a place
so
like
slow.
San Francisco.
I mean, it's like Jimmy Garoppolo if he literally could not move. I don't know.
He'll be gone. Find him in San Francisco. Let him be the vet over there to back up whoever is going to be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Playing a system he's familiar with. Bring back Jacoby Brissett if that's the case. If you don't have a quarterback that's capable of starting day one, I think the quarterback that is capable of starting day one will be playing up in Houston. And I think Houston's they're going to surprise a lot of people this year.
No. I also think the Colts are going to surprise some people and take Will Levis ahead of Anthony Richardson, but it's neither here nor there. Let's move forward to the Houston Texans. So coming into this last season, I thought the Houston Texans were going to surprise some people. Brandon, you were like, this team is going 1-16, or maybe it was 0-17. Do you remember which one it was? Your preseason prediction?
It was one. I don't remember. I think I predicted them lose all their games. I'd be surprised.
And you weren't too far off. They went 3-13-1.
Yeah, they're a terrible team.
So the good news for the Texans is that they had the second overall pick and the 12th in the Browns and $35 million in cap space.
Nice.
The bad news is that they have a lot of holes and a number of receiver that wants out. Justin, I started with you for the Colts, so Brandon, we're going to start off with you for this one. Do the Colts go Bryce Young with the second overall pick?
Texans.
Splurge out for the rest of the position groups, or do they wait a year to really flesh out the offensive line, the interior, build a great roster, and then allow a young quarterback to come in a clear position to thrive?
Who's their current starting quarterback?
Davis Mills.
Oh, that's right.
They have Kyle Allen, too.
God, I mean, I think D'Amico Ryans is going to slow burn this because I think that would be the smartest decision. Don't know what he's being told by the front office if they want to go quarterback, because we always know that people in positions of power they might have different opinions on certain things, and they might not give D'Amico Ryans the full reins in that decision. I don't know. I would slow burn it though, and I do think that D'Amico wants to slow burn it. Just depends on what the front office wants to do. So yeah, I agree. So go O line, build that defense up too. Maybe keep Davis Mills as the quarterback for this coming season. And then, maybe go into next season. Because again, I'm going to reiterate, I don't believe in any quarterback in this draft as a franchise guy. I just don't. Unless there's somebody that's,
I take BC.
I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think a lot of people like this quarterback class. So unless there's a guy in the second, third, fourth round that's going to be, a Dak or a Russell Wilson or whatever, I don't see it. So the Texans, for me, I think they've, like John said, they got a lot of holes. They got a lot of money, though. They got some good draft picks, good draft capital. They do have a number one receiver who wants out. That's another off the books because he's making a lot of money. I think he's making upwards of $20 million a year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So you get him off the books. That's even more money on your cap space. But again, you got a lot of holes, so you got to fill those freaking holes. And who wants to really come to Houston in the free agency?
So real quick, Bears take Jalen Carter first overall, and Bryce Young's on the board. Are you passing up on Bryce Young to go with Will Anderson, a defensive end out of Alabama? He's really good, but really, really good. So is Bryce.
And you would think D'Amico Ryan's defensive guy, he might want to take the defensive guy. If he doesn't believe in the quarterback. I don't believe in if he doesn't believe in the quarterback, then you don't take the quarterback. You know what I mean?
I think he'll believe in his alma mater. Very good. JRey, what do you think of the Colts' biggest move is number 2?
The Texans, Jonathan.
Right, I'm blanking.
It's I think they are bringing in a quarterback. I don't know if they necessarily believe in Davis Mills. Davis Mills had a very good rookie year. I mean, probably the second. I wouldn't say very good, but
low bar here.
Yeah, he was probably the second best rookie quarterback last year, behind Mac Jones. And this year regressed, sure. But regarding this team in itself, this isn't a team that was just getting waxed week in and week out. This isn't a team that didn't show any fight whatsoever. I mean, they took the Eagles to the brink of it, and they took the Chiefs to the brink of games. I mean, not the Eagles, but the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys to the brink of games, back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They're a big reason why the Titans missed the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is a bad team. I think this was a team that just obviously is missing some explosive pieces. And I don't know if the quarterback is necessarily the true reason why, but they can go a lot of places with their draft picks. How many picks do they have in the first round?
They have 2 in the first round. Top 12.
Oh, top 12. Yeah, that's a huge opportunity that last year the Jets had, and they seized it. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Right there, you have an opportunity to truly elevate your franchise. Now, that's the sticky situation here also. Do you absolutely need the quarterback? Are you sold on Davis Mills? Probably not. But like BCAP said, are you sold on the quarterbacks available? Because you're not just going to throw a number 2 pick away on a quarterback that you believe in halfway. No, you got to be all in on a guy. So either you can go big and, like you said, draft a defensive end to make that immediate defensive impact, or you even trade that second pick to get even more picks in the first round and later in the draft to truly change the course of your franchise. I think they're on a good path. I don't think anything that they're going to do here is going to change that. I think I trust the direction of Nick Cassero and D'Amico Ryans. I think they're going to build a very solid team. And this is why I'm telling you, Jags are going to win that division. But I would not be surprised if Houston finishes second.
I like that take a lot.
And shouts out to Derek Stingley and Jalen Petrie. They're building a nice little secondary there. I think they're going to have some good pieces next year.
Yeah, they have that kid that had the disease, right?
John Michi. He's recovering really well from leukemia, which is awesome. Awesome news. 3rd round pick out of Alabama. Great player. I was excited to see him last year, and unfortunately, before the season, he was ruled. But he's progressing well, and I hope he'll be back next year, but only time will tell. The Texans, for the most part, hit on last year's draft. Kenyon Green at guard, he struggled, and guard's a position where it's harder to miss on those players. So that's a little bit of a concern. But look, let's be honest. They were not maximizing Derek Stingley at all last year. And you look at the job D'Amico Ryans did in San Francisco, they signed him to a 6-year deal knowing this is going to take 3 years to get to where they want to be. And the good news is, does he have the horses? And Putre, like you mentioned, rookie, and Derek Stingley, who was the first cornerback taken on the board, and one of the best cornerback DB drafts we've ever seen. It's not just Sauce Gardner, the depth, the nickel corners. There's so many different guys. It was insane. And Stingley has that development. He has all the potential. We saw his first year as a freshman at LSU going up against Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson every day in practice. Iron sharpens iron. And I think for Ryans, he was by far the best coach of this hiring cycle with the likes of Shane Steichen. So you hit on the head coach, I believe. Now we have to see it in practice. The other things they have in this team are a really good tackle duo, and Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil. Now, Tunsil was a player that wanted out last year that kept him around. I think you extend Tunsil to be the blind side of a Bryce Young in the draft. You don't hesitate. I think you take Young because the only concern with him is the fact he is my size. That's an issue in the NFL for playing quarterback. The good news is Bryce Young is one of the best talents we've seen. He's not Tua where he's a statue. He can move. He is amazing out of structure. I think Bryce Young, in 2 years, could have a great core around him. I think with the 12th pick, here's the thing. You may shop that second overall pick, but I think if there's any trade that's likely for this team, it's that 12th selection. Do you look to trade that for a receiver? It's not going to be out DeAndre Hopkins, but maybe a T. Higgins potentially. Somebody on the market, and you get a true top 15 guy, and you pair that up with Michi. And then in the draft, this is a deeper tight end class. You like to go tight ends. You like to grab someone on the interior offensive line. And now this offense has all the parts with Dameon Pierce. Hopefully he stops fumbling, which he did last year. And I think Bryce Young could be set up in that position to thrive, like I talked about earlier.
If I'm the Bengals and the Texans offer me the 12th overall pick for T. Higgins, I'm jumping on that.
It's amazing.
I'm taking it literally, no hesitation.
I don't think T. Higgins is A.J. Brown. And, A.J. Brown's can trade for, 17th pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would jump on that instantly, especially because you might just lose him for nothing anyway. Yeah. You get a 12th overall pick. Oh, you can draft another T. Higgins right there.
For $3 million. Or $5 million. Now, the defense real quick, they do have a lot of work to do on the front seven. That's why, Justin, like you said before, so they look to trade back and get more depth on the edge. That's also a possibility with this team. They also have $35 million in cap space, and that is amazing for extending some of these tackles long term. And I think one of the biggest questions with the team will be, can Kenyon Green get better? I don't know. We'll have to see more. That was, a pick that they got from Cleveland. Top 15 selections. That's pretty big. If he does develop, if he can get good, man, that Texans offensive line can be really good in 2 years, or maybe by next season. And like I said before, John Michi, I like him a lot. Nico Collins, too. I think he could be their third receiver if he get the number one. But to be honest with you, as opposed to trading that 12th overall pick to pay T. Higgins $20 million, I would rather just take a receiver outright. Whether it's Jordan Addison, you go with the slot and JSN out of Ohio State. Every draft class has awesome running backs, and now we're seeing it, awesome wide receivers. I would much rather take my chances spinning the wheel with a receiver that's going to make $4 million than paying $22, which a receiver is going to hamstring the rest of my team's flexibility in the cap. So I don't think they should trade for T. That's something I've seen thrown around. Brett Coleman, actually, shout out to him. He's a Texans fan, great NFL creator. I think they have to look to get Jordan Addison with the 12th pick. And from there, man, this Texans offense can be explosive real soon. And the secondary, man, it can get dangerous rather quickly as well.
They're going to shock a lot of people.
I agree with you. I think this is going to be a good turnaround. But it's also the Texans, so I'll have to see where they mess that up. And some other news. We're going to shift gears back to all of our football fans, the NBA real quick. I don't know if you guys saw, but Lonzo Ball is out for the season. I'd imagine you'd see. There's the question of whether Lonzo's going to play again. And that question to me, man, it's tough. Lonzo a year ago was basically the missing piece, or the piece, between DeMar and Zach, getting the Bulls to a level only a fan could dream of. They were the number one seed for a couple of weeks, a month in the Eastern Conference. Lonzo became the perfect role player, an elite shooter off movement, an elite perimeter defender that excelled in transition, making hit-ahead passes, generating turnovers, being selfless, and overall for the Bulls, that was one of the best free agent signs in the last 5 years. It was an amazing fit with Zach LaVine. and he's played 35 games through 2 years. And a year after his first arthroscopic knee surgery, he can still barely walk up the steps. And of the 10 doctors he's spoken to, not one of them understand what's wrong with his knee.
This is one of the more sad cases in the NBA because Lonzo Ball, I think everybody started to really grow a real liking to him. And his dad's personality, I love watching the Ball family. It was a blast. And, when he was a free agent, when he signed with Chicago, I was kind of hoping that he would become a Knick because we needed that guard. We needed that. And I'm not even going to say we dodged a bullet, but I really feel bad for what the guy's going through because you could only imagine the guy wants to be on the floor saying that he's having trouble even walking upstairs and doctors saying that they haven't seen a case like this in a long time or ever at that point. It's kind of rough, and it sucks for Chicago being that when you signed him, it was the beginning of a new era for you. Potential with Zach LaVine, like you said, DeRozan and Lonzo, capable of so much, and you said they were the 1 seed for a while too. So it is pretty sad. I hope we see him on the floor again, and I hope we see him at full strength. But if this is something that is going to hamper him the rest of his life, then man, it's not worth it. Just I think what was it yesterday that Byron Jones came out talking about the injuries that he dealt with in the league and how he really can't jump, he can't run. There's certain things that aren't worth it, and I really hope this isn't the case with Lonzo. I hope he's too young. He's 25 years old. I'm 24. I turned 25 in April. I can't imagine not even being able to walk up the stairs. So prayers up to Lonzo. I hope you get better, man.
Yeah. It's really all you can say right now is prayers up. Hope he gets better. Before even thinking about basketball, let's hope that he's just able to do regular everyday things. Hoping the best for Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, 25 years old too. So he is so young. Just real quick, I hope, selfishly, I want to see him back out on the floor. And obviously, I know he does too. He recently got plasma injections to help with that knee. It's probably going to be the biggest question around the Bulls the next year. Not even, does Zach LaVine have enough trade value? It's no. Can Lonzo Ball, get to a level of which, he can do those everyday things and then hopefully level up to the point he's, playing professional NBA basketball. So, you guys hit the nail on the head right there. Praying for the man. I love watching him. And the good news is on an $84 million deal. And in the NBA, those contracts are guaranteed. So, he is set for life.
Mm-hmm.
Some good news.
Oh, yeah. He's good.
With all that being said, I'll wrap up episode number 79 of the Wise Guys podcast. JRey's Knicks, 5-0 in the last 5. BC's Heat, can't say the same. With all that being...
Justin.
Yeah.
Manny Machado signed with the Padres?
Yes, sir, man. And for a while, I saw that popped up. For a while, he was saying, he's planning on opting out at the end of the year. People wondering, can the San Diego Padres keep this core of Juan Soto, Tatis, and Manny Machado? Part of me was dreaming, man, we missed Machado one time. It's time. He's going to be a Yankee. Now he's not. 11-year extension with San Diego. That's great for that city. Awesome baseball town, and we saw it in October. Padres are going to be an exciting team to watch, and Machado's a big reason why.
Yeah. We also, Dan Snyder, please do everybody a favor. Get the hell out of Washington. Nobody wants you there. Stop blocking people from buying the team. Just leave. Read the room. Bye-bye.
Let Jeff Bezos buy them.
Let Bezos buy it, man.
It's just like, come on, God. This guy is so petty and ugh.
Yeah, so
one thing
to ban Jeff Bezos from bidding on the team.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. One thing I did want to ask you guys real quick, because I don't think you guys commented on it when I texted you guys about it. There was rumors that I guess a former CEO at ESPN had talks with the NFL executives about making the Super Bowl a pay-per-view. Now, when I heard that, I went, no way. Then I thought, oh, but damn, that actually could be the case because it's $1 billion company, and what do they only see? Money. And if they can get you for $30 for that event, they don't care if their viewers go from 118 million to 50 or 60, because if that's 50 or 60 million people putting $30 a pop, It's just
Yep.
lying in the pocket. So I think people might need to get ready that could be the future. The Super Bowl could be a pay-per-view event, and it's terrible because I hate that so much.
I definitely pray that doesn't happen. That would kind of kill it. Everybody's going to be doing their illegal streaming sites for Super Bowl Sunday. Oh, come on.
So bad.
I don't
There's
think
a will, there's a way, JRey.
I don't think it'll happen. Fingers
I
crossed.
think it has big chance to happen.
Yeah, it's surely a
It's a
possibility.
lot of money, Justin. You're leaving
No,
on the table.
it is a lot of money. I could only imagine. Man. And the thing is, if people are gonna buy it, even if it's $60, we're gonna buy it.
And then the other sports are going to follow suit. NBA,
I don't think
MLB.
I don't think they can.
No, the NBA does not have the luxury,
I
unfortunately.
think they could.
Now, in too many games. See, football, that it's the one game.
No, just for like you buy a package, you buy
Uh-huh.
the NBA Finals package or something.
Oh hell no! I don't even want to live in that.
I'm just saying, dude. This is
bizarro world.
money talks, man. This is what they
Let's talk
want.
about
Man, I do not want to live in that world. Nope.
Uh,
That'll do because
I'm
now I'm
sorry.
sad. I really am just.
You
I
want to know
hope
what's
that doesn't
will
happen.
make you happy, Justin? Jason
Yeah.
Tatum's game winner last night. That'll make you happy. Tatum, listen to this, guys. Jason Tatum has the most game winners of any player in the NBA in the final seconds, the last 5 of the fourth and overtime. I told Brandon, look, he's not taking after his predecessor, and Paul George, a player he's very similar to, not Paul Pierce, Paul George, who historically never can make a game winner. I do want to say for the Celtics team, what a win last night for the 76ers. They've owned them for a long time, and it seems like, as Joel Embiid said after the game, story of my life, can't get them now.
Yep.
Celtics team is dangerous, man. Really dangerous. It
Yeah.
is.
Hopefully, we take them out Monday night.
We'll see. We'll see. That's the best duo in the NBA. Hot take. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, not a duo better.
Easily.
Maybe Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant and
I haven't seen it
all
yet.
the same.
I haven't seen it.
LeBron and AD if they're at full strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Anthony Davis, that's a realm that does not exist even in 2K. But with all that being said, we'll wrap up episode number 79 of the Wise Guys podcast. Hope you watched and enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Stay classy.